Welcome back to Handmade with Holly. My name is Holly Michelson, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Del Mar, New York, just outside of Albany. I'm really excited that you're here to join me today. I have a fun project making this great gift card holder. So the card has a built-in place to insert your gift card. And even though I've made this in a festive holiday design, this card has a lot of great purposes all throughout the year. It would be great for a birthday, a wedding gift, graduation gift, all sorts of great ideas. But the design we're going to make today is featuring the frosted gingerbread stamp set, and we'll be making this one for Christmas. Before I go ahead and get started, just a quick reminder that if you are not yet subscribed to my channel, I invite you to click on the red button and become a subscriber. Subscription is free, and it means that you're joining part of the Handmade with Holly community. Also, you want to make sure that you click on that notifications bell. It looks a little bit like this. But if you click on the notifications bell, YouTube will notify you each time I upload a new video, so you won't miss any awesome projects. All right, now this card is really easy. We'll be able to make it pretty quickly today. I'm very fortunate to be part of a local demonstrator group called the Upstate Stampers. We get together once a month and swap ideas and case each other. And today I'm bringing you a fun fold project that I learned about from fellow demonstrator Catherine Howe. Of course, I wanted to put my own twist on the project, so I changed up the stamp set and the papers and whatnot from what Catherine made. But I love this fun fold that she introduced me to. It's a great way to provide a gift card to someone, and it's super easy. So let's go ahead and get started making this card. Now, first off, we're going to need a variety of products from the mini catalog. This is the August to December 2021 catalog, and the products that we're using can be found on pages 8 and 9 of the catalog. I'm going to focus over here on page 9, but we're going to be using the frosted gingerbread bundle. I used both the dies and the stamps for this project. I'm also using the mini ruffled ribbon. This is Real Red mini ruffled ribbon. And I'm using the Gingerbread and Peppermint Designer Series paper. Now, if you think this project is adorable, don't delay. The stamps, dies, and Designer Series paper will all be retiring on January 3rd. And so that means since they've been announced as retiring, they are available while supplies last. So you want to be sure that if you're interested in these products, that you hurry up and order before they sell out. I do also want to mention that the images on this catalog page are copyrighted by Stampin' Up! All right, so on this version of the card, I used an old olive card base, and I pulled a sheet of paper from that Designer Series paper called Gingerbread and Peppermint. Really adorable assortment of gingerbread and peppermint papers. Great Christmas plaids, fun peppermint designs, polka dots, and even these papers that look like iced gingerbread cookies. What's super nice about this paper is you get a lot of sheets like this where you have the cookie image, and then there's actually matching dies in the bundle where you can cut out the cookies. So you can see I've actually cut out a number of these in advance. I use the dies to cut out the stars and the bells and the Christmas ornaments, and even to cut out a whole bunch of snowflake cookies. Now there's also some other images in the paper, like these Christmas trees, While there isn't a die to cut out the trees, these are very easy to fussy cut using your snips, which is what I did to cut myself out a whole stack to use on my projects. All right, so the main thing to know about this card is that we are going to cut our cardstock vertically. Oftentimes when we cut cardstock for a card base, we cut it in the other direction, the horizontal direction, but it's important for this fun fold that you cut your paper vertically. Now, when you're cutting cardstock to make one of these gift card holders, you may need to make several of them. Lots of times at the holiday season, we're gifting lots of cards. And so let me give you a couple of tricks on how you could make 2 card bases at once. I'm only going to make 1 card today for the sake of time. We'll make the 2 card bases just to show you the efficiency trick. So what we want to do is score first, and if we score first, we'll be able to score both card bases in one pass. So we're going to score the paper at 2.5 inches. So I'm going to place my paper here at 2.5, and then use my scoring blade to give that a good score. And then I'm going to shift the paper over to 5.5 inches, and I'm going to go ahead and score this again. Don't worry, there'll be a downloadable for you that will give you these dimensions. You can look for that in the description. Now I'm going to rotate my paper so that it's vertical, and I'm going to cut my paper in half. And half of the paper vertically is 4 1/4. So we're going to get the scoring blade out of our way, and this time I'm going to use the cutting blade, and I'm going to cut the cardstock in half. Now you can see by doing that, I have 2 card bases, and I could make 2 of these cards if I wanted to. We're also going to need to cut a piece of DSP. The DSP we're going to use today is this sheet. I used the stripes on this sample. I thought I'd use a plaid today, mix it up a little bit. And we need a piece that's 4 by 6. I really like using the 6 by 6 paper for this project because it's super fast to get a piece of 4 by 6 designer series paper out of a 6 by 6. So I just gave that a slice right at 4 inches, and I'm going to set this aside for another project. It's a really nice chunk that I can get another great project out of. Now, in addition, I'm going to need to cut this into 3 pieces. So if you look at the gift card holder, we've got this piece here, and we've got another piece on the inside, which is the same paper just flipped over. So we're going to want to cut this down into our 3 pieces. We're going to cut it at 2 3/4. So I'm going to line that up here with the 2 3/4 mark. We also want to cut it at 2 1/4. So I'm going to give it another slice. And that's going to leave me with this strip that's 1 inch. And this makes my 3 pieces. 1 for here, 1 for the inside, and 1 for the bottom. Okay? And then lastly, you'll want to cut yourself a piece of white cardstock. This is what you're going to use on the inside for the sentiment. Stamping on the old olive would be possible, but not all ink colors will show up on that. Laid a white piece on the inside. This is a standard matting layer. It measures 4 by 5 1/4. So these are very easy measurements, all super easy cuts. And now we're going to go ahead and assemble. I have my card base already scored. I'm going to finger fold it in half. I'm going to come in with my bone folder and burnish this. And then I'm also going to fold this here. I'm going to finger fold it on that second score line, and I'm going to give that a really good burnish as well, okay? So the card is going to be oriented like this, right? So I can take my designer series paper and decide which way I'm going to place it. In the case of this paper, there's a direction to it. So you want to make sure that you're adhering it in the correct direction so that your design is not upside down. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my Stampin' Seal. Okay. And then I'm just gonna visually align it so that I have about an equal border on all 4 sides. We need to make the finger notch so that the recipient sees the gift card and can pull that out. So if I take that out, you can see the finger notch a little bit better. I recommend that you have your DSP adhered first and then punch the notch out. That way everything's perfectly aligned. If you try to punch the DSP and then punch the cardstock and match them up, they may not be a perfect match. I'm cheating a little bit, and I'm going to use a retired circle punch. This is the 1¼ inch punch. But if you don't have this, you could also use one of the circle dies from the layering circles. This is easier to do on camera than to bring in the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. There's also a circle die available in the Give It a Whirl dies. Either one of those would work great, and those are both current products that are available. But if you're like me and you still have this 1¼ inch circle punch, this is a very fast way to do it. I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of that over the edge of my paper, making sure I have about the same distance on the left and the right hand side. And then I'm just going to give that a quick punch to make my finger notch. Now we need to adhere this down, and we want some adhesive that's going to be pretty sturdy because the recipient, you're going to be reaching in to fit the gift card in there. The recipient's going to be taking it out, maybe not once, but maybe a few times. We definitely want adhesive that's sturdy. I'm going to use the Terran tape. So the Terran tape is available in the annual catalog on our supply list. And if you don't happen to have it, but you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, we received this roll of Terran tape in the November Paper Pumpkin kit called Gifts Galore. So check that out, and maybe you do have Terran tape after all, even if you didn't realize you had it. All right, so the idea of the Terran tape is that you literally can just use your fingers and tear it. I want you to line the Terran tape up as close to the edge as possible, remembering that you're going to be sneaking a gift card in here. You don't want to have your Terran tape come in off the edge, because the more you do that, the less space you'll have to get your gift card in. So you really want to make sure this Terran tape is right along the edge of your card. And then I'm literally just tearing it with my fingers to lay it down. This is a good time to bring in your Take Your Pick tool, and that will help you remove the paper that's protecting the adhesive on the Terran tape. I don't know if I'm doing a very good job, but just peel off the protected paper. And now we're just going to come in and give this a finger press over the Terran tape, and that is mounted and pretty sturdy. Just going to check that my gift card fits, and it does. Perfect. Okay, now let's go ahead and we're going to mount our white inside piece. This inside piece, you really want to know exactly where it's going to be before you stamp it, so that you make sure you get your sentiment between the top flap and the bottom piece of designer series paper. So I like to mount this first. Normally I stamp before I mount in case I have an oops, but in this case I recommend that you adhere and then stamp. I have some samples I'm going to show you at the end, and I'll show you one of them, that what happened when I tried to just place it down, eyeball it, and stamp it. I ended up getting it a little bit crooked. Just putting some seal on here. Okay. And again, checking that I have an even border all the way around all of my edges. Great. Now at this point, I'm going to come in and put my designer series paper right at the bottom. I'm just going to line it up with the corners of my white paper. And depending on which sheet of designer series paper you use, you may have choices of which side you want to be the front and which side you want to be the back. I knew that I wanted to use more of the plaid pattern, so I did the 2 pieces in the plaid and then the 1 complementary piece with the cookies. Just went ahead and mounted that there. We're going to put the adhesive on the last piece of DSP, the one for the front. Looking to make sure I've got about an even border all the way around, and I'm going to go ahead and put that down. I'm going to take the gift card out while I decorate this. So now I can embellish this any way I like. Let's go ahead and actually stamp. Need to stamp 1 sentiment on this card. Because I want to leave room to write a message up here, I'm just going to put a sentiment in this area. There's a lot of really fun choices in this stamp set. Sending you peppermint kisses, you're the icing to my gingerbread, happy holidays, and wishing you a Merry Christmas. I'm going to go ahead though with wishing you a Merry Christmas. I actually know who this is going to, and it's going to be a good sentiment for me. I have the matching ink to this paper. I have the Old Olive ink. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line my card up with my grid paper so that I know it's straight, because I want to be able to get my sentiment on there nice and straight. So my card is lined up with a line on the grid paper, and I'm going to go ahead and come in and stamp. Nice press, straight up. That looks nice. Now that my card is stamped, I can go ahead and embellish the card front. I'm going to bring in this real red mini ruffled ribbon. It's got a great texture to it. This ribbon is beautiful. I'm going to bring that in and lay a piece down here. So I just put a little bit of seal there, and now I can lay my ribbon in that Stampin' Seal. Make sure I get that on there straight. And now let's go ahead and pick what embellishments we want. I have lots of them here. I was very industrious about cutting out shapes that I could use. Trees and snowflakes, bells, mittens, ornaments, stars. What do we think about that? I like that one a little bit more with the red ornaments offsetting the white dots and the red dots, but let's see about the one that's gingerbread. Ooh, I like that. I think this one's the winner. That's what's so fun though about having all of these pre-cut. I have the option to sit here and experiment. I do love this ornament on this paper, but I think I'm not going to do that since I did this one with an ornament. I'd like to use a different shape. Oh, the mitten's kind of cute. Or we could bring in a couple of snowflakes. So we could have 2 of the snowflake cookies. What do we think? 2 snowflake cookies? Or do we like the Christmas tree better? I think the snowflake cookies. That's what we're gonna do. I like it. Okay, let's pop these up with some dimensionals. So I'm gonna go ahead and use these. Just taking the backing off my dimensionals. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this one down. And so that tells me that when I put the second one, I probably don't want to put dimensionals over on this side and pop it up again. I probably just want to keep my dimensionals on this side of the cookie. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put some dimensionals over to one side. And then I'm also going to put a little bit of Stampin' Seal over here. So I've got some adhesive there, it's just not 3-dimensional. there we go. So I will clear our gingerbread cookies off to the side. And now we have a finished gift card holder. This was so fast and easy, and especially if you use the trick where you cut 2 card bases out of 1 piece of cardstock, you can make double these very quickly if you need a lot of gift card holders. Now, while I'm looking at the peppermint and gingerbread products, I did want to just point out a couple of cute other projects that I made with this stamp set. These are using the Pretty Pillow Box dies. The Pretty Pillow Box dies are also on page 9 of the catalog. They can be found right here. And I do have a whole separate video about making these Pretty Pillow Box dies that you can check out on my YouTube channel. All of these make great holiday gifting items. Great way to give a gift card, great way to give a small treat, a pair of earrings, lip gloss, some sort of treat or item that you want to give to somebody, all with this really fun designer series paper and these really cute peppermint shapes. So I promised you some additional samples at the end of the video if you stuck with me to the end, and so I want to deliver on that. Here's an alternate sample. This one says "Let It Snow," and the gift card holder is on the inside, of course. What I did was I used the Penguin Playmates Designer Series paper that was free during Celebration this year. I cut out the snowflake from the Snowflake Wishes bundle. There's a couple of really great dies in here that makes nice snowflakes. I used this one. And I stamped these cute images using the Let It Snow and the snowflakes stamps from Snowman Season. So this one was really kind of a hodgepodge. This was all from one product suite. These were bits and pieces from things that I had. I have a very specific purpose for this. I know who's going to receive this. I wanted it just this way. I also added a little bit of Winkostella. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little bit of Winkostella here on the snowflake so that it glistens. This cardstock is Misty Moonlight, and the Designer Series paper is Fresh Freesia, so the ink here matches those 2 colors. Moving on from the holidays, like I mentioned, these gift card holders are perfect year-round. You can use these all the time. And so I have a couple of samples here for birthdays. This sample was actually my very first mock-up. So a lot of times when I make an initial card, I'll use some of my retired paper. That way if I make a mistake or I don't like it, I haven't used up any of my current papers. So this was my first attempt at making this fun fold, and I made this great birthday design featuring the Sweet Ice Cream stamp set and the coordinating punch. So you can see here the punch. You can see the punch punches out the ice cream cone and the ice cream scoop. So I used that to make this first one, and the sentiment came here from Sweet Ice Cream as well. Now, once I decided I loved it, I went ahead and made another one using current paper, and this paper comes from the Pattern Party pack of paper. This is some Designer Series paper that hostesses can earn for hosting a party. And I also paired it with this gorgeous sheer ribbon. It's a pool party, but it's really beautiful sheer ribbon. And I kind of thought it had a nice glisten to it, which I liked because ice cream kind of has a little bit of a glisten to it. So I thought that looked really sweet here paired together. And then on the inside, I actually used the same pattern. The pattern that was on the back of this paper was not a perfect complement for my project. So rather than reverse it, like you see I did in some of these cases where I used the back side, for this one, I use the front side for the entire card. So here's a couple of great birthday ideas. And then I thought about, what about a graduation card? So I made this great card using the Sailing Home bundle. This has a matching set of dies, which I used to cut out the sailboat and also the rope. On the inside, again, I used the same set pattern of the paper. I was continuous there again. And you know, within the stamp set you have congrats, and you also have set sail in the direction of your dreams. So I thought this was perfect for a graduation sentiment. And where I got the oval from was I used the double oval punch. I only used one of them though. I didn't use both. I could have matted that in Night of Navy. And I should have mentioned Night of Navy, and obviously basic white there. This one, because I used a basic white card base, this is the thick basic white, there was no need for me to insert the white panel. I stamped directly card base itself, no need for the white insert like you see here on the darker card bases. This one I think is maybe the showstopper, and this is one that I made thinking of a wedding occasion. So for this one, I used the Elegantly Said stamp set, and I used this stamp here, True Love Stories Last Forever, and also this floral stamp. And I cut out, I used Very Vanilla to accent this, and I cut out this shape using this elegant punch. Kind of makes this nice elegant shape. And I put that behind the flower to offset the flower from the designer series paper. This is really beautiful paper. This paper is part of the suite for Elegantly Said. It's called Simply Elegant Designer Series paper, and we've got some gorgeous patterns here. This floral picks up on the flower in the stamp set, but we've got some really gorgeous elegant foiled paper here that I thought was perfect for a wedding. This paper, this one, maybe this one would also be really nice perhaps for a graduation. Very elegant paper. And of course the back side is also printed. The foiling is on the front. The back doesn't have the foiling, but you've got lots of nice neutral prints that you can use there. In addition to that, I wanted to have some ribbon on this one as well, and being as though I'm using this for a wedding card, I paired it with the glittered organdy ribbon. This ribbon's kind of cool. It has iridescent glitter in the ribbon, but I paired it with this glittered organdy ribbon. And for the flower and the sentiment, I actually used the silver embossing powder, and I heat embossed this. So if you see this card in person, it's kind of a stunner. You have this gorgeous foil paper and then the heat embossed raised textured stamps really make this card stand out. It's quite beautiful, and would be very appropriate for an elegant wedding gift card holder. Now I mentioned I would say to you how when I didn't get it straight, and this is the example where because I was heat embossing this, I stamped the image, and of course with Versamark it's clear so it's harder to see what you're doing, but I stamped the image when the piece of cardstock was not yet attached to the card base. It was just loose, and you can see I have it slightly, it's ever so slightly not straight. And so that was just a good reminder to me that it's probably actually better to mount your inside matting piece first and then stamp your image onto that inside piece. I know it's risky because if for some reason you don't get a good impression, you might need to peel it off and do another one. But I did find that when I stamped the image after the inside piece was mounted, that I tended to do better with it being straight. So was happier with those. This one ever so slightly slanted. So let's take a quick look again at all our awesome samples. Like this Let It Snow could be a winter birthday or any other winter occasion, maybe even Hanukkah, or it could be Christmas. You know, since I use Let It Snow, it's not specifically Christmas. These are obviously Christmas. We've got birthday, graduation, wedding, and honestly, any other occasion that you think to give gift cards for, whether you're giving a gratitude gift card and you want it to say thank you. And in fact, this sweet ice cream set has a really lovely thank you sentiment that I could have used if I was making a thank you card here. Endless possibilities. So really the main thing I want to convey is how super fast and easy it is to make this fun fold, and voila, you can make your own gift card holder and then decorate it any way you like with any designer series paper you have or any stamps, punches, or dies. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I'd appreciate it if you would leave me a comment below and let me know which of these card designs is your favorite. Do you like the frosted gingerbread? Do you like the snowman? Do you like the sweet ice cream? The sailing home, or the elegantly said? Which one's your favorite? I'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to purchase any of these products, go ahead and look down in the description for a link to my online store. If you don't already have a demonstrator, I'd love to be yours. If you've enjoyed these projects today, why not join me again? Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the notifications bell so that you're notified each time I upload a new video. Thanks again. I appreciate your time and I'm so glad you could stamp with me. Hope you get a lot of mileage out of this fun fold. Thanks again to my friend Catherine Howe. Until the next time. Bye.